So sorry.
Oh my God.
There we go. We're going. Little tech glitch, but we got over it. Yay.
Perfect. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
It's my new,
So happy
my
to
new.
see
Well,
you.
we're actually friends. You just didn't know it yet.
Right.
I've been following you for years.
And they know.
Okay,
And now
so
we're like in real life friends for the first
it
time.
is. It is. Oh gosh, so great. Okay, so let's guess. Everybody's like, who? Jeannie, stop now, Jeannie. Stop girl crushing and just get to the interview, please. Okay, great. Hey guys, welcome. We're tired, but we're here to share and talk about passion for nutrition and what inspires our colleagues. I am on the FNCE Floor. We're on the last day of 3 really intense days of just partying, yes, but also connecting and really just being inspired by people that we're meeting. And I have a very special guest, and you're very special because I feel like I know you because I've been following you for so long on social media. And so why don't you introduce yourself, please, to our guests and let us know who you are. And I want you your name and your company, but who you are in terms of what inspired you to be doing what you're doing.
Oh my gosh.
You can hold this when you talk.
Okay. Oh, fun.
And then the next hour, Nicole. I'm kidding. No. Very brief interview.
I've never used one of these fun little microphones
There
before,
we
so
go.
this is cool. Okay, I'm Nicole Groman with Nicole Groman Nutrition. That is my private practice in New York City, and I am a private practice dietitian, and I work specifically with disordered eating, chronic dieting, and orthorexia. Those are the clients that I work with. And oh my gosh, how I got started. Let's try to make this as short as possible. Basically, my own history with all of that. I struggled myself with orthorexia and disordered relationship with food and body. Actually started graduate school for nutrition before I knew I had that problem. It was like an obsessive kind of relationship with nutrition. I'm like, I want to be a dietitian.
Okay.
And part way,
Yeah.
it wasn't like I healed and then became a dietitian. And then about halfway through graduate school, started working on my own relationship with food, saw a therapist, saw a dietitian, and then kind of came out on the other side. There was no turning back about what kind of dietitian I was going to be. So it's like intuitive eating, health at every size, helping the clients that struggle the very way that I did.
Amazing. Great story. Thank you. And now it's not uncommon that dietitians go into dietetics for one reason. And, often it's something that we've been touched by personally or like a family member. So really what you have done so beautifully is that you've harnessed your passion for, how the impact that it had on your life and then your healing journey. Just nobody does it better than you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So who do you serve? And you already said what your niche is, but really what is a typical client or patient who comes to you? What are they struggling with and what do you help them overcome?
So the typical client that I work with has been dieting for a really, really long time and doesn't want to diet anymore. So people kind of know that that's what I specialize in. So they're like, I've been dieting forever. I want to eat intuitively. Maybe I've started to try to eat intuitively on my own, but I can't really do it. I feel out of control. So I help people who actually want to stop dieting and need support in doing that. A lot of people who are feeling uncomfortable in their bodies, who are like, I kind of want to lose weight, but no, I would rather also be comfortable in the body that I'm supposed to be in. And those are the people that I work with. And I do that in my one-to-one counseling. And I also have a group program that
talk about that. How do you serve these people? Great.
Through I call it connection, education through connection.
Okay.
Because I really connect deeply with the clients that I work with by just doing, it's not therapy, but it's kind of nutrition therapy, just within my scope of practice, of course. Just really understanding their internalized beliefs about food and their body. And we don't always talk about food. We really don't. We talk so much about beliefs and experiences, and having them challenge and question everything that they believe in, or have believed in until this point from their lived experience, and breaking it all down. We smash it apart and help them relearn how to connect with their bodies again, appreciate their bodies and respect their bodies through a lot of tools like the hunger satiety scale, and
Yes.
Which is one of my favorites, and just challenging themselves to do things out of their comfort zone that don't align with those internalized beliefs about what is right and wrong so far.
Amazing. And I love that you give them you break it down and you build it up again.
That's
You give them
exactly
a framework in which they can live, they can feel safe and still enjoy all the foods that they enjoy.
Yes,
Right.
without guilt now, without guilt.
Right.
Finally.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Yeah.
how freeing, right?
Yeah.
What is inspiring you? Maybe something that you saw here at FNCE or just something that is happening in your industry, your niche of intuitive eating. There's just been a lot of growth. There's a lot more awareness now than when I first became a dietitian. So what is really inspiring you and getting you excited right now?
Oh my gosh. I think that so intuitive eating has been getting a lot more recognition in the last few years, which is absolutely incredible. Because like, you know, Evelyn and Elise created it years ago and finally everybody is like screaming it from the rooftops. And I think that's really inspiring for me because now people have so many more questions about it, right? There's more that something's in the media, the more people are like, wait, like what is this?
It almost instilled curiosity.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes, it did. And there was also a lot of like misunderstanding around it
Mhm.
because intuitive eating is like, eat what you want. And people are like, okay, but like that's not healthy. And it's like, but actually it is. So now we get to come in as the dietitians who are like, no, this is evidence based. You know, like we have a ton of evidence. And that's what's so cool about being here, connecting with so many other dietitians who feel so proud to be like working from that evidence based perspective. So I get to educate people on like why intuitive eating actually does work because we've got media and then we have the evidence and the science that we can provide.
All right. So I just got goosebumps now because this is, you know, we did a workshop on Saturday talking about how you can now. We're going to get to your social media activity in a little bit because it's significant. But how what you're doing in your practice is evidence based, but what you're doing on social media also has to be evidence-based. Really, the only difference is that social media is giving you a megaphone, and you have quite a megaphone, which also comes with some responsibility, Nicole, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like you to talk about, just give us an example of like what would be something, an evidence-based tool maybe that you would use in practice. Maybe the hunger scale, that'd be a good one. Because you actually do that. I can now I'm thinking about that. You actually communicate that through your social media posts without saying this is the hunger scale, right? So why don't you use that as an example for us?
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So the hunger satiety scale, right, is an actual scale that I use in my practice with clients. And then when I talk about it on Instagram, it's really more about like, can you feel your fullness? And can you feel your hunger? Where are your physical cues? Do you feel connected to it? One of the biggest things that I talk about all the time is like how much people struggle with honoring their fullness. Like, I can't stop when I'm full is like one of the biggest things that my clients will say. Well, can you even tell when you're full? Right. So, like, how can you act in a way that feels right for you if you can't even feel what your body is saying? So, instead of talking about it in like the scale and numbers, it's more just like slightly more casual language around like, you can't honor your fullness if you can't feel your fullness. And also, if you have been dieting for a long time, you're
We're back.
okay, cool. They don't know that what they're saying is I can only feel a level 1, 2, or a 9, 10 on the hunger satiety scale, but that is what they're saying in language that like we all
Here's your
understand.
hold on a second. There we go. It's coming in. The internet here is not so good. Sorry,
Okay.
guys. Okay, go ahead.
So the Hungry Clementine, my Instagram.
Okay, there we go. Follow Nicole